God has actually transformed people. I have seen life transformed. I've seen stories of people who came into Indigitus as they have IT skills, but they don't know much about God. And then after a year or two, they become so passionate about God, about their work with God. They become sharing their faith with others, raising other disciples for God. I have seen people who today have ministry using technology just because they came into Indigitus to hear about the use of digital, and they pick it up and it has become a ministry for them today. I'm Yomi Adeyinka, ordained pastor and a missionary with Great Commission Movement of Nigeria. I'm in Indigitus because I use digital to reach out to my indigenous people in my country, Nigeria. When I finished studying computer science, I fell in love with writing codes. I love developing software, using technology a lot. 2002, I had this opportunity to manage a cyber cafe in Lagos. Being the manager, I'm always there in the morning, afternoon, evening. So I noticed a set of people coming to the cafe. I realized what they were doing actually was to deceive people from other countries about their personality, about their needs. We call them internet fraudsters. In Nigeria, we call them Yahoo boys. And for me, it got to a time that I realized they started bringing younger generation, people who are younger than them, to the cafe to teach them to do the same thing. So a burden came upon me that these people are doing the wrong thing and they are training people, the younger generation, to do the wrong thing. I know I have IT skills, I have different skills. I'm not teaching anybody, I'm not training people. So I decided I'm also going to start training people on how to use IT for the good of community, for the good of the nation, for the good of people. And then 2005, I had this inspiration to go and learn how to use internet to evangelism. And that was where I met Billy Graham Evangelical Association online, recruiting people to go through a training at the Wheaton College for internet evangelism. I joined them and we were trained, and that was where it started. By 2007, I joined the Power to Change, the mentor ministry, and then the interest of being online and meeting people from other countries and helping them with their problem, with where they are, and having the opportunity to share my faith, tell them about my Jesus, got me interested about the use of technology. I was doing that all alone until one day I was invited, 2015, to Accra, Ghana, to come and attend Indigitus events. They were sharing how they have been doing the same thing I was doing, and how they have platforms, they have people, they have networks who are doing this all around the world. Before, I used to feel like I was the only one doing it, like being alone doing this thing. But it's like, oh, these are my people. I found my tribe. So I got interested about Indigitus from that time. And since then, up till now, I've been able to take Indigitus to different places, and because I have people who are doing what I've been doing and are doing what I love to do. After that time, I had the opportunity of meeting the Campus Crusade ministry in Nigeria that is called Great Commission Movement of Nigeria. And then they challenged me about joining them in the use of digital for ministry. So I did, I joined, and we started moving from one state, starting from Lagos. We went to another state, Ogun State, to Oyo State, and we started raising people from churches, teaching them how to use digital for ministry. There are some set of people who say they just love to develop tools, digital tools, like apps, like content, for other people to use to share the gospel. And we say, yes, you can do that. And that's what I've been doing. Today, I'm the Indigitus leader for Nigeria, and God has helped us to move into about 7 cities in Nigeria, and we have also helped other African countries like Sierra Leone, introduce Indigitus to Sierra Leone, and also join people who are doing the Indigitus in Liberia. So by the grace of God, we also have opportunity through Indigitus to reach out to the deaf community, where we're able to do some gospel presentation for them in their sign language. We've had opportunity to also encourage a lot of so-called Yahoo boys, these internet fraudsters, and some of the students, graduate students who want to go that line, to hear us that they can actually use internet for positive things. And a lot of them today stop doing that, and they are using it for good thing in their community. Is the opportunity to meet younger generation, the opportunity to work with people who are younger than you and being patient with them, making yourself vulnerable to them that you are also growing as a Christian, sharing your weaknesses and your strength to them. And they believe in you and also following Christ in their walk with God. And then becoming leaders, becoming Christ-centered multiplying disciples. That is the value that I cannot trade for anything. So the vision for Indigitus Nigeria is to be the mobilization force for the body of Christ in Nigeria. We have had churches, church leaders who have approached us to ask, how can you help us to use technology for ministry? So we want to be the one who mobilize digital missionaries for churches. We equip them, we train them, then we ask them to go back to their churches to go and use it for their churches. I went to Sierra Leone to introduce Indigitus to them, and I was surprised. Before I left Sierra Leone, there's a team. I trained about 2 sets of people, and one of the group that I trained already named themselves as Indigitus Sierra Leone. Right now, we are mentoring them and being patient with them also to begin to do what they have learned in their country. We want to take it to Gambia. We want to help other countries where they are not using technology for ministry. And we're already talking to our Indigitus members in Nigeria, and they are getting ready, getting excited to go on a digital mission trip. We call it digital mission trip. So where we go as IT guys, as social media experts, but you're a Christian and you follow us to a country, and then we gather people in that country, we train them, we equip them, and then we leave them with tools and material they can continue to do digital ministry, and then we'll come back to our country. That is what we want to do by the grace of God. Nigeria has the largest evangelicals in West Africa, probably in Africa, and a lot of them are on social media and doing other things, doing their businesses, schooling, and some other things. But majority of them are not using it for evangelism and discipleship. The churches needs to grow, spiritually and numerically. But then their members are not sharing their faith. And they are on a space, on digital space, where we have good number of Nigerians spending at least 7 hours every day, and they can share the gospel with these people. Indigitus Nigeria is one of those movements in Nigeria that is equipping the body of Christ to do just that. We have a number of people who are going around teaching believers on how to use technology to make money, how to use technology to build business, but we are focusing on equipping the church to be able to use technology to do evangelism and discipleship. And the church in Nigeria needs that kind of organization, movement, a network where they can belong and then be trained to empower and then take it back to their organization and use it for the glory of God. Most of the challenges we have been having is some of the content we have right now in Indigitus are mostly for believers. They are mostly for those who are curious about Christ, who are already asking questions about Christ. And we realize that most of them are the ones we've been getting over the years. So it's a big challenge for us. We've been exploring ways to get content, to get events that can reach out to the unaware, those people who have not heard about Jesus, those people who are not on the internet to even ask questions about Jesus at all. So we have been trying that. And one of the efforts we have done is the reaching out to the deaf community in Nigeria. And that's a story on its own, because that happened in our hackathon 2018. One of the Indigitus members came in with deaf people into the hackathon, and it was like, what will these people do for us? So, but then we gave them a space and we asked them to continue to try to also do something for the glory of God. At the end of the hackathon, the leader came to us and said they want to make a gospel presentation in sign language because the deaf people in Nigeria who are Christians, majority of them don't go to church because the churches don't have department for deaf people. Only a few churches have department for deaf people. So it's like they are not really part in sharing their faith with other deaf people. So the guy started using his phone to record the 4 spiritual laws in sign language. His name is Wuni. And then after a year, we work with him and we encourage him to bring these deaf people who are believers to our studio. And then they came in, and today they developed 4 spiritual laws in sign language. And me as a missionary, I have used these 4 spiritual laws to reach out to deaf people with an interpreter in Plateau State, in Jos Plateau State, Nigeria. And 10 people gave their life to Christ. I think 7 of them signified they want follow-up. I went to Liberia and they told me about another one. Our leader in Liberia said there's a deaf school. We went there. And the same thing happened. We shared the 4 spiritual law with them. About 10 people among them also gave their life to Christ. We want to really try content that will reach people who are far away, who are unaware, who are not going to church really. We want to actually use technology to bridge the missional gap. God has given us huge opportunity to fulfill the Great Commission. With the digital space, I believe that we can fulfill the Great Commission in this generation. All we need to do is to be intentional about it, is to do it wholeheartedly, and also to be flexible, because what works in Nigeria may not work in your country. What works in your country may not work in my country. I should be flexible to see what is working in my country and then follow what the Lord is already doing in the hearts of people. In Nigeria, we're taking the gospel to new people, to new places, to new spaces by reaching out to those unreached people group, the deaf community for now, and also people from other faiths. We are also doing that by going to other African countries where digital strategy is not present.